The way I answer that is that we're all wired to be able to benefit from some sort of a keto reset, from some sort of
I love that.
a reduction of carbohydrates and an improvement in the efficiency of our energy systems, this metabolic flexibility that we talk about. So virtually everybody is kind of wired to benefit from that. Now, some people are based on how old they are, how much metabolic damage they've done to themselves over a lifetime, the medications they're currently taking because of the damage they've done to themselves over a lifetime, based on sex. Some women have different hormonal cycles, and some of those hormonal cycles have been impacted by the damage they've done to themselves over a lifetime. And so those are cases where I would say if you want to engage in this keto reset, share this information with your physician and just say, I want to take advantage of this whole fat burning thing that's the new big thing. I want to do it, under your supervision. So I want your blessing, and I guarantee you'll find a physician who will be willing to take that on. It might not be your current physician, but you'll be able to find one who could do that. And then it's a matter of being just smart about how you do it and stair-stepping your way in. I wouldn't, take anybody and say, we're going to go all in. You're going to go cold turkey on carbs, and you're not going to we're going to go from your 350 to 600 grams of carbs a day down to 20 grams of carbs a day. And it'll hurt for a couple of days, Sean, but once you get past it, it'll be fine. Well, that's not the way we like to do it. That's a real shock to the system. So we like to make it as comfortable and convenient and stair-step people into it. We want to be sure that you're good at burning fat before you earn the right to go into full ketosis. So we actually have a process. It's 21 days to reset your metabolism first, and then there's literally like a midterm exam in the book that you have to pass. You have to get a 75 or more on this midterm exam to earn the right to go keto. And and the exam is basically questions like, how do you feel in the morning? Can you go past like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning without having breakfast and not get hangry or not have get moody or depressed or have, lightheadedness? If you can do that, then it's a sign that you're good at burning fat. You're waking up burning fat. You don't need as much glucose to get your day off to a rousing start. Can you go to the gym and do a workout and not have a pre-workout meal or a post-workout meal and be fine? And there's a reason that we actually encourage that as the best way to work out. Other questions, are you getting enough sleep? Because sleep can interfere, or bad sleep can interfere with your ability to become good at burning fat. When you don't sleep, that's a stressful situation. It creates this whole feedback system that causes the adrenal glands to secrete cortisol, and that leads you down a path of storing fat and burning more sugar and creating more sugar, which is completely antithetical to a fat-burning keto lifestyle. So what you want to do when you're keto is control stress hormones, and so a lot of that has to do with how you're sleeping. Again, what sort of stress management practices are you incorporating in your life otherwise? Stress is devastating throughout the body for a lot of reasons, and it's almost if you looked at lifestyle factors and reasons that people get sick, bad diet is right here. Stress is like right below that, and the inability to manage stress is a huge component of it's what we call the etiology of disease. So you can talk about the stress component of some autoimmune diseases. You can talk about the stress component of type 2 diabetes. You can talk about the stress component of obesity in general and metabolic syndrome. What happens under most conditions of stress, and by the way, stress is not generally a bad thing. I mean, you build muscle as a result of stress that you incur in the gym.
But these
are hormetic stressors. These are acute stressors that, when controlled, actually cause the body to respond positively. But and the best example I'll give you is that when I was a runner, the occasional hormetic stress was going to be contemplated to make me better at what I was doing, but doing it the same thing day in and day out, 15, 20 miles a day every day, ultimately destroyed me, because all it did was accumulate damage. It was an accumulation of stress. So when we talk about what happens to the body under stress, the biochemistry of it is that there's a signal sent from the brain to the adrenal glands to secrete hormones. Adrenaline, norepinephrine, epinephrine are the common ones that we think about. But cortisol is this sort of long-term stress response that has interesting consequences. So when you're under stress, the body secretes cortisol. Cortisol tears down muscle tissue, first of all, so that the amino acids in the muscle can be sent to the liver to be made into glucose. So the brain can have more glucose and the muscles can have more glucose to run fast. It basically shuts down a lot of bodily functions. So cortisol suppresses the immune system. Cortisol, from the perspective of evolution, would be like, okay, why would I invest in resources that might save me in a year or two with an immune system when I might not live the next hour or two? Cortisol basically shuts down a lot of reproductive processes. Again, the body goes, well, why would I invest in reproduction when I might not even live the next couple of hours? So cortisol decreases the uptake of calcium by bones. Again, you want to divert the calcium to the electrical channels that are causing nerves to fire and hearts to beat, rather than building a structure that, again, will have no use if I don't survive the next couple of hours. So cortisol has all of these sort of consequences that make sense in terms of a short-term event, like I'm being chased down the plains of Africa by a saber-toothed tiger. I got to survive the next 2 hours, and if it takes me a couple of days or weeks to repair the short-term damage, to improve the uptake of calcium by bones, to reset my immune system back to where it should be, then so be it. I just need to survive the short term. So that makes sense in the context of like these occasional traumatic stressors. Now, fast forward to modern times. Oh my God, the bills due, the mortgage payments due, the noisy neighbors next door, the traffic on the way to work. Oh boy, all of these things that we take on as stress. My relationship isn't where it needs to be. I'm worried about the kids. Are they gonna? We all find ways in which to generate this same signal in our brain that causes the same secretion of chemicals that has the same devastating effect, except now it's not just once in a while.
It's chronic.
It's chronic. It's all the time. So one of the effects of cortisol is that it encourages the deposition of fat. And it also encourages what we call gluconeogenesis, the manufacturing of glucose by the liver. So if you're trying to burn off fat, and yet you've got these stress hormones that are causing you to make more sugar in your liver, and also causing you to want to retain the body fat that you already have and not take it out of storage and burn it, those two things don't jibe.
Yeah.
They don't go together. So we need to figure out ways to reduce stress. So that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons that in the book we talk a fair amount about the fact that you could get all of the macros right,
yeah.
and still sort of be at a plateau or not have the results you want because you didn't correct some of the other lifestyle factors that we need to address. But the results, we want to get the best results possible. So you asked about some other issues or complications with some of the ways to do keto. I say in the book there's a lot of ways to do keto.